Good afternoon. I was reflecting on the people that I've met in my life, that Westerners that took up Buddhism in one form or another, to specialize, to study. And it was interesting that I think Tibetan Buddhism seems to have a mystique, a great appeal to Western pundits, to Western searchers somehow. And I thought of that old James Conrad, I think, his book about a mystical country in the general Asia, Shangri-La, in the general area of Tibet. And it seems to have an allure that's stuck. And as I mentioned, I have an acquaintance, a friend, who, as a 20-year-old, went up to the base of the Himalayas and studied and was ordained and spent many years in the lower Himalayas, in the Tibetan tradition. And he went on to become a Buddhist astrologer. That's interesting. Only one I've heard of. There's lots of them, but and he ended up leaving the order, but laying aside his robe, but maintaining his spiritual life. And a colleague in the University of Hawaii was quite high-ranking Buddhist monk in the hierarchy of the Tibetan tradition, one of the four schools. And other scholars, but it was just by familiarizing myself with their teachings. And it just dawned on me that, it's probably a human condition that when you discover something new, you want to rush out and share, encourage, work diligently so that others can join you in your miraculous discoveries, that the journey, the path of awakening is so alluring, so compelling. The rewards that it seemed to promise. Just wanted to share that with everyone. Well, I never felt like sharing much in the first 30 or 40 years of my inquiries. I want to say journey, but inquiry is such a better, more closely encapsulating term. It was a journey, but not in the sense of a journey from point A to point B. Essentially, it was a journey that led to everywhere without going anywhere. By focusing within, everything that you need to know, everything that you're able to know about the without is available within. So maybe it's a short journey from here to here. But quest, I like. I've always fancied myself on a quest of understanding. But to go back to the beginnings here, when I talked about people that I had occasion to meet, Westerners, more numerous were the ones that followed branches of Indian thinking, the allure to India. But that was more on the Hinduism side. On the Buddhist side, predominantly, I encountered predominantly Tibetan Buddhists with a bent towards Tibetan Buddhism, and never had much of occasion to meet Westerners involved in the practice of Zen. Even in the two schools, the Rinzai and Soto Zen, I know that there's a lot of Westerner, some Roshis, but a lot of Westerners that have delved deeply and experienced the Japanese Zazen. But if I looked at the roots of Zazen Chan in China, when Bodhidharma brought the teachings, Buddhist teachings, to China, and China quickly, over a long period of time, that idea of quickly, accepted and adapted Chan to Chinese sensibilities. And this would proceed through Korea and Japan. But what Westerners, maybe it's part of who we are, we tend to bring zeal and enthusiasm to recruit others to like-minded thoughts and practices, a zeal. But as I talked earlier, the line between a zeal, the enthusiasm, to becoming a zealot, the negative, in my opinion, the negative part of the expression of zeal. If I had too much zeal about anything, and I always question the propriety and closely examine and make sure that I didn't head into the realms of zealots. Zealot, in my thinking, is someone that's so convinced, so fixed in their beliefs, in their systems, in their attainments, in their accomplishments, so fixed that they don't see room for any other kind of pursuit. This is a conversion. They want to convert you to their views. And this zeal is apparent in all religions. And as zealots, you don't have to look too deeply into zeal to experience zealots. But some zealots are well intended. Where they fall short is operating from a closed system. Nothing can reach them except what supports what they felt zeal about, enthusiasm in the first place. Meditation, enlightenment, awakening. And most of them took the approach of Raja Yoga, the idea somehow that Zen has been saddled with, to quiet and silence the mind. A daunting task. But I mentioned earlier when I did a teaching, a sharing on leave zeal to the zealots. Over enthusiastic, because as I've come to see, we each have all the time in the world. There's absolutely no need to rush. I go up to Taipei as seldom as possible. The big city here in Taiwan. I'm out in the countryside, for those of you that don't know, on the East Coast. Laid back countryside. But I always so confused when I go to the mass transit MRT or anywhere in Taipei. I'm a slow-moving creature. But there, the hustle and the bustle, the rush. I watch people run to catch the next bus rather than waiting a couple minutes. And everybody seems to be late. I get up early, I leave early, I arrive early. I'm always there before time, before my appointments, so that I can rest and review and watch. Which is, if the big city has any appeal to me at all, it's watching the madness as everybody rushes. But I'm secure that I have all the time in the world. So I don't feel pressured. I feel that people should savor, they should enjoy their time. As far as sharing any kind of spiritual information, guidance, teachings, in the hopes that it will prompt people to wake up quickly. These desires elude me because all things upon their time. The universe has a rhythm. And when you can listen for this rhythm, I've mentioned it as a song because I love music and I experience it as a song of calling. And my spirit and soul, a lot of times, will respond with a song of longing. Longing for unity. Longing for the time that all my brothers and sisters wake up and we can enjoy each other. We can just enjoy being alive. So I was in Taipei and I watched people run to catch the next bus or the next MRT. Run! And if you've ever watched ladies run in high heels and office garb, it's tough on them. And you get on the public transport and running to catch the next one, knowing that another one's coming in 3 to 5 minutes. That's so precious. The 3 to 5 minutes is so precious. The idea of going up and down the escalator, to learn that you need to be to hug the left, if you're not moving, to hug the left rail, to let the people pass on the right that don't want to wait. It's funny. If something is infinite, as time truly is, time is not the linear experience that we measure it to be. Tick-tock, tick-tock. This seems to be the sound of the universe for most people. Time's a wasting. I don't want to waste my time. But once you relax and realize that you have infinite time in the holistic sense, the time-space continuum, sure, this physical body has a limited warranty, has a limited time frame. This body certainly doesn't exist forever. We leave it aside after, hopefully, it served the purposes for which it's designed. The purpose of being in the human body, at least as it seemed to me, was to get past the inherited sense of separation as an individual, especially harboring any belief that you were a unique individual. It's nice on paper, but it doesn't hold up when you start to recognize that we're just one tiny little speck of this thing we call life. There's levels, there's dimensions, not to speak of the huge inner universe that we experience and the multiverses the billions of multiverses that we know are out there. And that's just with the dimension that we're able to ascertain at this point. Science is amazing, and there have become times already in the string theory, quantum physics, the minds have gone to 9, 11, 13, whatever number that you would like to put on dimensions. Much speculation is there's gotta be If you got infinity, there's got to be something and someone similar to us somewhere. So, in this context, how much room does it leave to truly be unique? How do you have an original thought that hasn't been thought of a multiple of times before? It's always interesting to me when somebody sees themselves as the creator of anything new. Nothing's new under the sun, as they say. And remember, our sun is just a simple, smaller star among a collection of stars, each one with the possibility of being a sun for someone, something, somewhere. And to live in equanimity is not so difficult once you get over any sense of limitation, especially time. So when people in their zeal are such a hurry for everyone to hurry up, join us, join me, I choose to smile, relax, let go of first expectations on myself, and then the follow-up is any expectations that I might wittingly or unwittingly extend to others. I'm never disappointed by what people do. I'm never disappointed about who people choose to be. My good friend of that constant change will do a much better job than I ever am able to do in what it does best. Brings new opportunities of discovery, new opportunities to learn. There's no need to live in a frantic pace. Rats in a maze, aren't we? And even change, if we're able to embrace change, most times we want the change to happen quickly. And it's change that somehow we measured to be to our advantage. Well, change doesn't consider any of our advantages or disadvantages. Just as a fine clock keeps ticking, so does change bring what it brings. Tumultuous tragedies, blessings, opportunities, But if I had to really give advice to anyone, if I was so inclined to give advice, it would be relax. Our favorite greeting in Hawaii is take it easy. When I came here to Asia, this didn't translate to well. Here's a people that are struggling with what to do with leisure time. When I first came here, it was a 6-day work week. And then they got a half day off on Saturday. School too, because school needs to accommodate the parents, right? If the parents are working 6 days, school needs to be a babysitter, which is a social babysitter, a government-sponsored or privately sponsored babysitting, essentially what most schools are, even up to, unfortunately, up to the age of university, stalling until they were forced to face real life. But they started getting Saturdays off, the people here. And it was a struggle what to do with leisure time. I remember the big earthquake, 1999, I guess, when I'd been here a couple years. 9/20, I think, September 20th, 1999. Pretty devastating to central and northern Taiwan. In the deaths of the low thousands. But the infrastructure, the electrical, the water. And I remember after 2 or 3 days after the earthquake, when people were coming out of their houses and so bored, no power, no TV to deaden their senses, nothing to do without electricity, and they just wandered aimlessly. I remember embracing the time, and at that time I was putting together, I had photographs and I was putting them together in albums. And I remember spending my days putting them together in albums. Inadvertently creating something way too heavy to carry and store. Just as I've switched to e-books, all my photographs, like most of us, or mine are in iCloud, stored somewhere. And it takes a leap of faith to really rest assured that the pictures are somewhere. I've had just enough experience with computers where things disappeared to really have much faith. But the important thing is my change in attitude about memories. I don't need tangible proof, evidence of the past. Ephemeral, not of a lasting condition. That's my past. And the joy is that you get some choice in what you want to remember, what you want to hold on to. I remember as a young father, raising my son, helping to raise my son. All the bad things, all the tough times are gone. It's only the moments of beauty that remain. And I would be so bold to venture that we are at liberty to do the same with our past. Selective memory. Hold on to what's precious and useful. And the rest is that beautiful process of just letting it go. The liberation from just letting it go. I've talked many times about how I see everybody struggling with a heavy bag, a burden, full of shit on their back. As they struggle to go uphill, because life is a struggle, and it lends itself well to the analogy of going uphill. And some of us learn before others, hey, brainstorm, what if I just put this bag down? What if I left this 100 pound of shit behind me? Doesn't that feel good? Now I can have a pleasant stroll instead of a life or death fight for survival. Holding on to all that stuff that's meaningless anyway, because it's all Maya, it's all illusion. So, take it easy, Hawaiian style. That old song, don't worry, be happy, was what I would repeat to my students at the end of every class. And I was kind of the don't worry part, don't worry, be happy teacher. And remembering to smile, to have patience with people, because time is available. We truly have all the time in the world. So our time will come. All of our times will come. And when it comes, it's timely. It's exactly on time.